So a lot of guys, even when I train right now, they come to my gym and I make them spend time, repetitious time like I did, on technique. They don't like it. They just want to beat bags, beat hand mitts, spar. Well, how can you do all this if you don't know the real technique that it takes to do it? So that's what's happening. We're missing all that because soon you come to the gym, first thing you want to do is hit something. In our day, it wasn't like that. You knew what kind of fighter you were, you knew how to jab, you knew how to throw a right hand, you knew how to throw every punch, you knew how to counter every punch, you knew how to defend every punch, you knew boxing from here. I'd rank him probably in your top 10, maybe even your top 5.
Where do you rank Terence, in your opinion?
I put him in the top 15, maybe the top 10, because he definitely has the skill of a top 5. Just that he hasn't had the opposition that some guys were able to get, and that's not his fault. He just made one of the best fighters in his weight class look like nobody. That's pretty damn good. Now he proved what we already thought. We just didn't see him against the best opposition near his weight class. See, this is the thing people don't understand. This is what I like about Bud. He reminds me of Roy. We ain't got to have the best opposition in our weight class.
Today I get some rounds with the GOAT. One of the GOATs. You know what I mean? 2 GOATs. Iron sharpening iron.
With the training he just had with Roy Jones, it's clear Terence Crawford has decided to move with the GOATs ahead of his fight with Canelo Alvarez. My biggest boxing secret is I always learn, and here's me learning from one of the GOATs, Terence Crawford said, before they started training. And if there was one main advice Roy Jones had to give Crawford, it was regarding his weight, emphasizing that he builds up as much weight as possible.
How do you think Terence Crawford should handle a weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
Having met with Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather lately, Roy Jones is the boxing GOAT Crawford has involved in his training camp as he prepares for the biggest fight of his career. The essence of involving Roy Jones in his training camp isn't just to train, but to get words of advice from the former heavyweight champion. Roy Jones has a similar story of moving across multiple weight classes like Terence Crawford.
Our weight class, we want the best opposition near our weight class.
There's been discussion that maybe Crawford and Inoue are going back and forth tussling for pound for pound, that maybe Inoue because of the multiple weight divisions. You're shaking your head no. Tell me why no.
Because Inoue also, when he first moved up, he lost to Donnell. Don't forget that. Bud ain't lost to nobody. Moving up or down, he moved up 3 times.
He won a world championship at the 168-pound super middleweight division where Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez are fighting. Alongside this, he also won championships at the middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight divisions. Anyone that can cruise across these weight divisions successfully is someone Terence Crawford needs to learn from, as he's making a 14-pound jump from the super welterweight division to the super middleweight division.
Bud, Canelo, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it's gonna be either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that fought in weight class.
Aside from the advice Crawford got from Roy Jones Jr., they both sparred for some good number of rounds. They also had some runs together, ran on the treadmill, did some swimming, and spent time doing some conditioning and strength exercises.
Not really, because that's why I beat James Jones. James Jones was one of the best fighters of all time. One of the best defensive fighters of all time.
James, that was...
But he ain't moving his feet. So because I got the full feet part of me, when he come at me, I'm moving my feet. I'm changing my whole location. When I come at him, he doing this. My hands too fast. I'm gonna find that.
Yeah.
You only gonna do that 1 or 2 times. I'm gonna find that. Cause my hands too quick. So people get the wrong misconception that defense is this. No. Defense is this. So wherever your back foot is, that's your defense. So your rhythm.
Roy Jones's strength was impressive to both Terence Crawford and the other guys in the gym, despite not getting into the ring since an exhibition fight he had 5 years ago against Mike Tyson. And after training with Terence Crawford, he was full of praises for Bud Crawford.
Racism is promotion.
Right, he don't want no part of Bud, what that means.
Yep.
Speaking of Bud, what are your thoughts on...
However, Roy Jones keeps expressing his genuine concerns for Crawford's weight. Roy Jones, being one of the most dominant boxers of his era, remains invested in the careers of the new generation of boxing stars. Among them, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez stand out as 2 of today's best pound-for-pound fighters. The idea of a matchup between the two has captured the imagination of boxing fans worldwide.
That's realistic. It makes sense. And less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight. And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No. It's Crawford who wants it. He wants the chance to prove it. He's the best.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
And and again, that's one of what's happening on a shakeup.
However, the weight disparity between the two poses a significant challenge for the American fighter. Before training with Crawford, in an interview with Mill City Boxing, Jones Jr. shared his perspective on this hypothetical clash. While praising Crawford's talent and skills, the legendary boxer leaned toward Canelo as the favorite.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What he got to prove to Boot? Boot time to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he?
I like Terence, but I'm going to lean towards Canelo with his size early. But if he lets Terence get into the fight, Terence is going to be a problem. If Terence can deal with the size, he will beat him. Jones Jr. emphasized the importance of Canelo's punching power as a decisive factor in the fight. That's what I'm saying. We don't know until we see Terence get hit, because we haven't seen him get hit with that power, Jones Jr. said. That's the deciding factor. If you can change Bud's fight plan, you've got a chance of beating him. But if you can't hurt him, you can't change his fight plan, and you've got problems. This analysis underscores Crawford's need to neutralize Canelo's renowned power.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What he got to prove to Boot? Boot time to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud look at you.
If Crawford can impose his technical boxing skills and avoid Canelo's devastating punches, he could stand a chance of pulling off a historic upset. While the potential fight between Canelo and Crawford remains a dream scenario for fans, Canelo Alvarez is currently focused on preparing for his next bout. International Boxing Federation interim champion William Skull has been mentioned as a possible opponent. This wasn't always the case for Roy Jones Jr. though. The Hall of Fame fighter and current promoter, trainer, and respected analyst Roy Jones Jr. had earlier shared scenarios in which he sees both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez beating Alvarez before going against his former prediction.
Yes, but not right now. I want to see Crawford come up with some weight classes and show he can be dominant at 54. You understand me?
That fight will go, Crawford and
Crawford won a pound better fight to fight. I mean, it'll be tough. But right now, that's going to be a tough fight for both fighters. We got to see how Crawford carries the weight.
What about Jamal? Based on what you saw from Canelo, how does he match up?
He began with David Benavidez saying, "It's a tough fight to call because Benavidez throws a lot of punches. Sometimes power can intervene and make that a different situation," Jones said in an interview with BoxingScene.com. The problem is Canelo willing to take the risk? I don't really think he will right now because I don't think he feels like he has a reason to. If he can't hurt Benavidez early in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I don't see him winning that fight. The 2-time 168-pound titleist Benavidez has been pounding the table for a crack at Alvarez over the last 2 years.
He showed, he fought the proper fight for the proper opponent. When you find a guy coming up 2 weight classes, you're supposed to bully him. If he'd fought Floyd Mayweather that way back in the day, we saw a much better fight. But he didn't. But he's learned now, and that shows you that he's improved and he understands boxing more now because he bullied the smaller guy, which is what you're supposed to do. What you say?
What about Crawford, Roy?
Crawford.
Formerly recognized as the best welterweight in the world, Crawford is open to moving up 2 weight classes for the chance at clashing with the Mexican star. Equal sign, equal sign. Alvarez, meanwhile, maintains that a win against Crawford would do little for his legacy, even though many are giving Crawford a real chance to score the win. "If anybody can do it and pull it off, it's Crawford, so you can't tell him no," said Jones. "I was the kind of guy that if someone said they were better than me and if I can get close to your weight, here I come. I gave John Ruiz 33 pounds, When I won the heavyweight title in 2003, I didn't care. I wanted to prove that I was pound for pound the best and to do something historic that had never been done.
You know, it's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove whether he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo comes to the.
That's probably how Bud feels right now. He wants to do something historic to solidify his legacy in boxing. Who doesn't want to see the pound-for-pound best from yesterday fight the pound-for-pound best from today? Who wouldn't want to see that fight? It's a mega fight. If he puts the muscle and weight on, how can you doubt him? One thing that's for sure is that he's going to go out there and fight and not just collect a paycheck. He's going to go out there and try to win the fight because that's who Bud is. If he carries the weight, it'll be a good fight. He can box just like Floyd Mayweather, and he can also fight. He hits and doesn't get hit. If he can take the punch at that weight, he'll probably win the fight.
Bud, Canelo, you know, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it can go either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that's put up in weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
Jones, who fluctuated in weight during the latter half of his career as a 4-division title holder, said Alvarez should continue his career moving forward at super middleweight. It's definitely best that Alvarez stays at 168. I didn't understand why he went to 175 to fight Dmitry Bivol anyway, said Jones. He had already beaten Sergey Kovalev, who was at the end of his career. Bivol was in the middle of his. They are two different animals. He got the crusher at the right time. Go back down and dominate where you are at. Don't try to fight another one because lightning ain't gonna strike twice.
Canelo did what he had to do to get the victory.
What do you want next? It seems like that's going to be the fight. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, the biggest fight in boxing.
Well, Canelo's the face of boxing. He's the best fighter for Terence Crawford out there. He's the biggest fight for Terence Crawford out there. So that's why Terence Crawford want to take the opportunity to share a ring with another great.
How do you beat him?
You'll see. Come 12.
Go to decision as opposed to win.
Regardless, many boxing professionals believe Crawford is no match because of the weight class. One man who disagrees with that take, though, is two-weight world champion turned boxing analyst Tim Bradley, who revealed on his YouTube channel that after studying both men, he now sees it being a dominant victory for Crawford. Timothy Bradley, a 3-time boxing champion who took a belt from Manny Pacquiao, predicts Terence Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez despite being the smaller man, because the Mexican hasn't knocked anyone out since 2021.
In the fight, would you agree with that?
I don't know. He was boxing well, and then he just stopped doing what he was doing earlier. I don't know. I can't call it.
Do you think Canelo slipped as a fighter?
No, I don't. I just think that, William was doing a good job neutralizing Canelo power punches. He was just...
The pair have been tipped to meet in the ring since the end of 2024, but so far nothing has actually materialized. All the same, there is a lot of excitement about the idea of the unified super middleweight king taking on the light middleweight champion. It would pit an intelligent and powerful switch-hitting brawler in Crawford up against a relentless pressure fighter in Canelo, who is very durable, hits hard, and is renowned for his talented counter-punching defense.
It's a dangerous fight, man. That's an extremely dangerous fight, dude. And Canelo lands one bomb, bro, on Crawford. It might not be good. It might not be good.
But on the note of the latter, Bradley thinks his power has faded enough that it won't be a problem for Bud to face in the ring, even if he has to step up 2 divisions to make the super middleweight fight night a reality. Everyone keeps talking about the weight. Oh, he's gonna knock him out, Bradley said via his YouTube channel. When was the last time Canelo knocked somebody out? Y'all can quit with that. He's gonna knock Crawford out. Come on, man. Didn't we just see somebody, Alexander Usyk, fight a guy, Tyson Fury, who was, quote unquote, 50 pounds heavier?
He just told me Crawford beats Canelo.
Hey, Crawford beats anybody he steps in the ring with. Anybody. He don't go No one beats Terence Crawford.
And his athleticism and defense to get out of the way, he should be able to beat Canelo, man. Slow plodding forward, good jab.
Canelo's the same height as Crawford. He's not a natural 168-pounder. He is a great fighter, absolutely. But you know who else is a great one is Crawford. The great ones know how to figure it out. Whilst it's true that Canelo's last stoppage came against Caleb Plant at the MGM Grand in November 2021, Bradley is overlooking the fact that the Mexican has faced and beaten reputable names in the likes of Gennady Golovkin, John Ryder, Jermel Charlo, Jaime Munguia, and Edgar Berlanga. I woke up at 3 a.m. and something told me to study Canelo and study Crawford. Crawford is about to beat the hell out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting you know right now. He's about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. A win for Crawford would be an incredible achievement, as he looks to add to his already superb accolades, which include becoming undisputed at both super lightweight and welterweight.
Got good quickness, throws a lot of hooks. Crawford just get away from all of those, get underneath him, bro. He should be able to beat Canelo, man. I'm telling y'all.
I'm skeptical about the fight. I will back Crawford because, again, I think that he's special, and he's a friend of mine, but that's a dangerous fight, man. That's an extremely dangerous fight, dude. And Canelo lands one bomb.
Tim Bradley wasn't holding back. This week, the former boxing champ took to his YouTube channel to call out Canelo Alvarez, urging the unified super middleweight king to stop running away and give Terence Crawford the fight he's been asking for. Bradley's message was loud and clear. Fans want this fight, and Crawford deserves a shot at greatness. But let's be real. Does this matchup even make sense? According to Bradley, Canelo owes it to boxing fans to make this fight happen. You already ran away from the Benavidez fight, Bradley said. Make the fight with Crawford. That's the fight everybody wants to see. He even dismissed the narrative that Canelo's size and power would overwhelm Crawford, pointing out that Canelo started his career at 147 pounds and stands the same height as Crawford.
I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is. Number 2, Devin Haney. You want to get back, man, go back to your roots, bro. Go back to where you started, bro. Where'd you start? You started in Mexico.
You're walking about Mexico, and you obviously don't care about what people think about you about not taking that fight. Make the fight with Crawford. That's a fight that everybody wants to see you take, and it's going to give Crawford the opportunity to show you and show the world his greatness, added Bradley. It's a bold stance, but Bradley's not wrong that this matchup would generate buzz. Canelo, with a record of February 2nd, 62, is the sport's biggest star, while Crawford, undefeated at 41-0, has long been considered one of the most skilled fighters in the game. Here's where things get tricky. Crawford's last fight against Israil Madrimov didn't exactly inspire confidence. Sure, he won, but it was far from dominant. Crawford took too many right hands and looked less sharp than usual. For Canelo, there's not much incentive to take this fight. He's already proven himself against bigger, stronger opponents. And Crawford hasn't done the legwork to earn a shot at 168 pounds.
Man, go back, get one of those guys out of there, man. Go back, start there. That's where you start. Go back to your roots, bro. Get some of that humble pie, bro. Go back, start where you started. Start where you started at. And bro, I'm telling you, you go back where you started, you're gonna come back up on top.
Critics argue that if Crawford really wanted this fight, he'd first go through the likes of David Benavidez or Artur Beterbiev to prove he can hang with the big boys. Boxing fans are split. On one hand, the idea of a skill versus power showdown between two generational talents is intriguing. On the other, Crawford's age, 37, and lack of experience at higher weights make this feel like a lopsided affair. At the end of the day, Canelo doesn't need this fight. He's already cemented his legacy as one of the greatest, and he's got plenty of other options to consider. As for Crawford, if he really wants to share the ring with Canelo, he might have to take the tougher road to prove he belongs. Tim Bradley can keep pushing for it, but for now, this fight feels more like a dream than reality. Crawford has achieved many big things in boxing, but victory over Canelo would be his biggest accomplishment. The super middleweight world champion has only tasted defeat twice, against Dimitri Bivol and Floyd Mayweather, and it's the Bivol battle that McIntyre will be studying if a fight between Crawford and Canelo takes place. He made him move his feet. If the fight ever materializes, that's the fight that I would go back and watch, said McIntyre regarding Canelo versus Bivol when speaking on the Luke Thomas YouTube channel.
Everybody that believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence. This is real simple. It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Terence going to get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
I'd look at Mayweather versus Canelo too. Also, former two-weight world champion Andre Ward has voiced his opinion on the potential super fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Speaking on the All the Smoke podcast, Ward, who retired with a perfect record of 32 wins from 32 fights, named the two matchups he wants to see most in boxing.
We just talking about him. Who's the most skilled fighter today? Bud?
Bud is definitely one of them, for sure. Tyke Shakur, Devin, Boots,
my favorite.
It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, and they're skillful in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But somebody that, like, I can bet the house on is Bud. Because me and him, we saw.
I want to see Canelo fighting Terence Crawford or David Benavidez. You have two options. You can go to somebody in your weight class, or you can try and pick on the smaller guy, Terence Crawford.
So much alike in our mentality. Like, soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball, wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So, skillful, yes. But this and this, it's different, man. It's not okay.
In the potential Crawford-Canelo clash, his money would be on the man who last fought at 3 weight classes lower. I'm not betting against Terence right now against anybody. Not doing it. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.